Welcome to the Coach's Edge podcast. If you watch on YouTube, welcome. I'm Steve Kramer of Kramer Basketball and coachesedge.coach. And I want to share with you a little bit about dribble drive offense and some of the big keys. This has been a very popular aspect of our coachesedge.coach membership. And I wanted to run through a few of the things that we emphasize within our dribble drive offense course. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this little handout, and it kind of helps our coaches inside the membership get an idea of our video presentations. And I think even walking through this for those listening on the podcast, it can start to give you a good structure for teaching your dribble drive offense and deciding, what you want to emphasize, what you need to do a better job of. And, this is not much of mine. It's a lot of what Coach Troshak has done with Charlevoix basketball and sharing with the rest of our Coaches Edge coach members how he has been able to install a very successful dribble drive offense in a rather short amount of time since he became the head coach of a new program. So with that in mind, we do a lot of dribble drive drills, and we have a whole section of dribble drive drills from one building up in our Coaches Edge membership as well. I do a bunch of these at our player development camps, our skill development camps during the summer, because I just love the dribble drive emphasis of being aggressive, right? And looking to attack, whether that's aggressive to shoot, aggressive to go. And so we use a lot of our dribble drive drills with at our camps, even for programs that don't necessarily run the dribble drive offense. And you can really teach the game off of it. Combine that with the fact that we have a ton of our Coaches Edge coach members that run the dribble drive. It's really been a great fit. But as I was running our camps, I was reflecting on what a cool job I have and how fortunate I am to be able to teach basketball, particularly skill development for a living, and then to work and consult with so many coaches around the nation. And it made me think that, like, there's somebody out there and you want to get into basketball training. You want to become a coach someday. You want to, maybe it's not basketball, it's something else. You want to start a business. Like, I think some people, we think maybe it's too much, not going to be able to do it, can't do it. Right. Well, if that's the mindset of a lot of people, which I think it is, how many people you're really competing against if you did want to make it happen? So I remember when I was starting out my player development business, and I was on YouTube watching videos, some of the OGs, like Gannon Baker, watching some of his YouTube videos, Jason Otter, watching some of their YouTube videos, and seeing what they were doing. And my thought process was, you know, they're doing an excellent job and they're some of the best to ever do it as far as teaching the game. But I was like, well, if somebody else is doing it, that means I can do it too. That's the way I looked at it. But I don't think a lot of people have that mindset. They say, that's one in a million. And so I think if you go in knowing, like, there's a ton of people that would have told me they love what I do, or they wish they would have done what I'm doing. So what's holding them back? It's a lot of times that fear and that risk of taking that chance. So if that's the majority of people and you say, hey, I'm going to go for it, you're really not competing against that many people. Most people have weeded themselves out before that. The competition almost isn't as big as you might think it is because of, that limiting mindset. With that said, because of media, um, there is a growing number as far as basketball training and things like that, just because of how we're able to share information, share knowledge, which is a good thing as well. Iron sharpens iron. When it comes to dribble drive, so that was my side tangent before really getting to the podcast on dribble drive offense and breaking down some of these keys. But man, you want to do something, go for it. If it doesn't work, at least you gave it a try. I mean, I started my business on the side, training and camps and clinics. I was doing that for like 2.5 years before I went full time. And if I never went full time with it, at least I gave it a go. And I can say I still would have been very rewarded being a teacher and doing some training and some clinics on the side. Like, that would have been a very rewarding thing for me to do as well. So go for it. That's my message, go for it. Dribble drive offense, some of these main principles we want to touch on: catch to shoot, react to attack. And I think when we talk about dribble drive, I'm at fault on some of this too, is that we teach so much of the driving, which is obviously very, very important. But if we're doing this right, we get a lot of inside out catch and shoot threes. And so we want to make sure we're practicing a lot of inside out catch and shoot threes. We want to make sure we're shooting them in the locations that our offense is going to create those shots, and really teach, like, if you want your team to run an effective dribble drive, you have to give them the freedom and the green light to take those inside out catch and shoot threes. And if it's not there, they understand how and when to attack, right? Couple rotations that Coach Tro and that we try to emphasize, pass to where the help came from. I think that's, the better you get, the easier, the more the game slows down, right? Like an average, below average player, they're just thinking about their person in front of them trying to survive, right? Next player, maybe, okay, that next closest defensive player I'm kind of looking at, but the really good ones, right? They're reading the whole back line. I mean, why is Luka Doncic so good? I mean, he's reading the rotation to the rotation to, he's playing chess essentially. And so if you can do a good job of teaching where the help is coming from, that's like a great foundation for us to teach with this game. Penetrate, pass, pass. Average teams penetrate, pass, shoot. I think great teams penetrate, pass, and pass, or I like to call it drive, kick, swing, right? You get the drive, you get the kick out, and then you get the swing to a new spot, right? I really like that. Just drive, a kick, a swing. Sprint or respace. So when it comes to spacing, if there's something that I think maybe I've improved on a little bit more over, my years of in player development, is just trying to focus on spacing more and doing a better job of teaching it and teaching the why. Like, we were teaching the two-sided break last week with a varsity basketball team, and they kept shrinking the court. And I was like, guys, I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say this, but like this, I just kept re-emphasizing the space and walking through where's the defense going to be till they got it, till they understood. Because I don't think they understood the importance of playing with space and playing deep and playing wide, things of that nature. And then one of my favorite quotes, which we got from one of our Coach's Edge members, was, does my teammate need help or space? And, especially if you're not teaching a true dribble drive, but you're teaching an attacking offense, I mean, you can really teach a lot of different progressions as far as driving based on reading the driver. What's my defender doing? Are they rotating up? Are they rotating down? Are they rotating straight lateral? Where's their chin? Are they looking away from me, watching the ball? So that is a big one. And then, of course, asking yourself, the teammate on the drive, especially, do they need help or space? If they're going downhill, they probably just need space, pushing away. If they need some help, maybe it's more of an east-west type drive. They got cut off, you feel behind, you can get a pitch, you can get an action going. We keep that moving going within our offense. So those are some principles of play. And again, all broken down inside the Coach's Edge membership with great video examples and much more detail than you're hearing on this episode. And then start to think about, how do you implement this system? Well, it starts from transitioning from the defensive end to the offensive end, right? And so how do we transition from one end to the court? And then you're talking about the alignment and the spacing. And then you're actually getting into the penetrations, the reads, right? The passing, the cutting, the movement, the shots that you want to get, some of those things from a development standpoint. And then you get into the reads and rotations, some of those decision making, right? And this is where I love doing our camps, is really digging into like the reads and the rotations pieces of this, because if we're working with a team, they already run dribble drive, they probably already know some of the things I mentioned already. But to really be able to break down in detail some of the drive reads, right, something that I really love, and some of the protection plans as far as being able to be able to get into spots, create space, keep a live dribble if we need to, winter locations where, okay, we would want to turn our body and be more of a protect. We would be more of a shoulder to chest. We would be more of an opened up position, right? Off ball corner reads are huge within any offense, especially teams that run the dribble drive. So the importance of staying, right? Being patient, when to lift, when to get in that dot action, which is dribble over top. Teaching those things are vital. And then, playing through the fill, the skip, right? And if you know dribble drive, it's about gaps, it's about spacing, right? And so being able to teach like at an early age, is this a good gap to drive or not? No, no, it's a single gap. There's actually a defender in that spot. Like that doesn't make sense to drive that spot. So let's create space through passing and cutting hard, right? And then looking to attack quickly before the defense is set, and working on catching the basketball and making those quick decisions instead of holding. Defense loads up, help side defense is set. Now our offense gets more difficult. One thing at our camps that we're always mentioning is the longer your possession goes on offense, usually like, and these are when we're doing like a one-on-one, a two-on-two, a three-on-three drill. The longer your possession goes, usually the quality of that shot goes down, right? Because a lot of times we've given them a small advantage. And so if they're able to use that to create a bigger advantage, it's right away. Hard to recreate that, right? So being able to make, those quick half second, 1 second decisions. As you get through deeper into run and dribble drive, there's so many other aspects that you can build onto it, right? And this is where I lean more on Coach Tro's expertise because he's going through those aspects that I think are a little more can be based on your scouting, based on your specific personnel. But you're talking about tosses and flips and slices and snaps and smashes and some of the point action with Princeton, how you might mix and match some different things within your offense. Those are very specific to how you want to coach and run your team, which is why I rely on Coach Troshak for his great stuff within our membership. So if you're not a Coach's Edge Coach member and you're listening to this and you're watching this, and you're like, well, I want to know a little bit more, please reach out, go to Coach's Edge Coach to learn more. Email me, contact@currentbasketball.com. Happy to give you more information. And then when it comes to being able to teach the game, right? I mean, what's shot selection is one of the most important things when it comes to any offense, regardless of what you're running. Paint touches being huge when it comes to dribble drive. And then you get into we have a whole video on what you're seeing right here, right? Shot selection, paint touches, protection plans, ball reversal, second cutters, blending and emotion, which is what I really personally like, right? Not a true dribble drive, but you're blending it into some other actions. It's a lot of fun, I think, but it takes a high IQ team and it takes time to build that within the offense. I thought when watching Coach Stroh's first year as a varsity basketball coach in Charlevoix compared to his second year running the dribble drive in Charlevoix, it was night and day as far as the IQ of the players, the quicker decisions that they were making when they caught the ball, the spacing and movement that they had and how much that had improved. So teaching all these things takes a long time, right? And you want to build over time and years an offense that fits your personality and obviously fits the personnel of the players that you have. But hopefully this is something that it's not just a 1 year thing. So you're going to put it in 1 year, then scrap it the next year. You're probably not going to be happy with it anyway. But if you see, hey, this is a group that could benefit from dribble drive offense for the next 2, 3, 4 years, I highly recommend checking out some of the things that we have. And then going back to teaching the skill aspects of it. How do we do that? A lot of small sided games, right? We might work on a couple moves 1-on-0, right? That would complement situations that they would be in from a dribble drive standpoint. Even actions sometimes without defense that would mimic what the actions are, live defense that they're going to see, and throwing defensive players out there and continue, you go back and forth and you're teaching and you're praising the positive things that you see. And it's a lot of fun to teach the game that way, I think. And it's great to see some growth. I mean, we've seen some growth with some teams that we've worked with this summer within just a couple days of working with them. And it's my hope that they keep that ball rolling after we've had the chance to consult with their coaches and work with their players for a couple days, and watch them continue to improve throughout the course of summer and obviously into basketball season. So if any of this interests you with our Coaches Edge Coach membership, the dribble drive motion offense, at the very least, I hope that listening to this gives you some ideas as far as what you might want to do with your program and how you might want to structure it. But make sure you're teaching those principles. Make sure you're teaching some of the basics as far as the spacing of it, how we want to transition down your alignment. And then you can get into what I think is the fun stuff, which is the reads and the rotations combined with the execution of the actual skills. So thanks for listening to the Coach's Edge podcast. Let me know if you need anything. Contact at kramerbasketball.com. How do you go about structuring your dribble drive offense if you're one that runs one? Get after it today.